You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat, the designer, are going to talk about the Bulls being 2 games below 500. Can they get above 500 for the first time since November 2020? We're also going to talk about Billy Donovan challenging Patrick Williams yet again, and next week's schedule, which is ahead of the Chicago Bulls, or this week's schedule, I should say. We're going to get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Pat, the Bulls, man, 2 games below 500.
Well, first off, bear down, apparently. Like,
oh, yeah, well, you know.
If you're watching on the YouTube side, like, we've been recording a lot of Bears stuff, if you can't tell.
FGB and the Packers lost yesterday, so it's about time. It's on brand.
And he threw it cross-body, dog, going to the right, cross-body pass. This isn't Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I felt good. Anyway, go ahead.
No, but the Bulls right now, 2 games below 500. We have not been at 500 or above since November 2020. Shout out to Stacey King for the stat on that. It's very gross. It's very gross. How do you feel about the Bulls being this close to 500? And you didn't watch it because you were at the game. Did you see they stole your comparison? Stacey King literally referred to the Bulls as Sisyphus trying to get to 500. They literally, they're watching you, bro. Literally a whole segment after a commercial, they talked about Sisyphus, and Stacey King had to explain what Sisyphus was and everything. I'm like, they've been listening to us, bro, because it's crazy.
Listen, first off, I love Stacey. I love that he's taking, because I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you took it from me, give me credit. Like, shut up. Like, first off, everything that you end up hearing is something you've learned, so you can now take it to do with what you will.
Absolutely.
But hey, Stace, just a little, like, come on, dog. Like, just shout me out. Just say a little
bit, right? Just a little bit.
Just a little. Just be like, I heard on Locked On Bulls, or I heard on the Windy City Breeze. That's all I'm looking for. We still trying to grow out here, baby. We still trying to grow. No, I love it. I love Stacey. There's some slogans out there that seem like they may have came from Stefan the Diamond Ringo J. Yeah, I mean, it was a little turn on the AC. But no, honestly, I think it's a great thing to take to the broadcast, because it's just true. Every time we've gotten close, we have gone the other way. And we've gone the other way drastically, right? Remember last season where there were games where it was like, all right, Bulls are finally going to get above 500. We're finally going to make our way. All right, here we go. And then we go on like a 3-game losing streak versus 3 teams that we were never supposed to be losing against. And so I feel that the Sisyphus comparison is so apropos for the Chicago Bulls, because it's just been an uphill battle the entire time, and a lot of times it's very, very self-inflicted. It's the Bulls not doing things that we've seen them do well, and they just don't do it on a consistent basis. I think what's interesting is in last night's game versus the Memphis Grizzlies, as we started to get closer, we saw that Bulls team that was going to do the simple things well, was going to defensively attack well, was going to move the ball continuously. I mean, listen, it was a dominant performance last night. First, listen, I literally said we're going to win by a lot, because I was watching one of the dudes that they brought up basically to replace the young guys due to pregame shooter, missed every shot. And when I tell you missed every single jump shot practice he took, I was like, he's in the NBA right now. That tells me we're going to destroy this team tonight. And we did. So we have to just continue to do the things that come simple to us: defense, ball movement, using Vooch early. I mean, like, I thought that was a really good thing that the Bulls did as well. And just maintaining that same mentality of, it doesn't matter where we're at or where we started at. If we keep at the pace that we're going at, we can end up a lot above 500. Remember, this Bulls schedule is nothing to be like, oh my God, how are they ever going to win? You know what it was? Like, remember last year how every game where it felt like you'd get a couple of games where you played against like really good teams and then you'd beat a bad team and you'd be like, well, of course we beat them. Like, I'm glad that we finally did it. This year, it feels kind of the opposite. Every time we play a good team, there's 2 or 3 teams after that where I'm like, we should win the next couple of games. And maybe that's like a loser's mentality with it, but I feel like that's giving this young team some confidence to go out there and say, we just came off a 2-game win streak. Let's make it 3 versus now the Phoenix Suns, even though we're not on. Are we on 2-game win streak?
Yeah,
we're on a 2-game win streak right now. Yeah. So just getting that confidence. Now your next game versus Phoenix. Let's keep it going. Let's get 1 game closer.
Yeah, the Bulls 6-4 in their last 10. They won 2 games in a row. But this is usually where things start getting. Either the Bulls would go on a 4-game winning streak, or they're going to lose 2 in a row. That's just usually how it goes, right? We got PTSD. But I will say this: if the Bulls come in here against Phoenix and they play with a solid game plan and set the tone defensively and rebounding, that's always where the Bulls are the best at. If they have big rebounding nights and they defend really well, everything else kind of comes together for them. They get out in transition. They get easy buckets, which then builds the confidence. Then the whole team's rocking the confidence, and then you're getting on a roll, right? So that's what the Bulls need to do. We'll talk about the week coming up ahead, but I just and the thing is and I said this over on Chicago Bulls Central, getting to 500 is great. And don't get me wrong, it's great. But it's what comes next after that. It's the bigger question we really need to ask. Because you get to 500, cool. But then what do you do to stay at 500? What comes after getting to 500? And I get it, as a fan base and as fans of this team, we want to be a team above 500 because it's been so long. But we can't get to 500 and then it just stop there. That's it.
Well, and I think that's the question you got to ask, right? Are we setting the standard for this team too low based on where we're at in years right now, right? I understand. If we trade Zach LaVine and we trade DeMar DeRozan, then fine, 500. You're going through some change here, a little bit of difference. I can almost deal with that, right? Like, okay, 500 season, there was a lot of change that happened. Boom. But if we're talking about pretty much running it back with the same team overall, right, is 500 too low? Because we're not even at 500 right now, but it feels like a lot of Bulls fans are in a good mental space right now because the team has done all of this winning. They've gone, I mean, they're now 6-2 over from the time Zach LaVine returned to now 1 game without Zach LaVine. You just beat another team in Memphis that we can say we won about Memphis. They've been beat up pretty bad, right? But Memphis has been competing even while they've been beat up. It's not like they showed up here and it was the first game where it was like, oh, this team has been devastated. I believe they beat the Dallas Mavericks while the team was down. I think they beat Utah as well. So like they've got some wins under their belt. This wasn't a gimme it game. And so, right, like, can you kind of keep, are we setting the bar too low for this team just because of who we're playing?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the bar is set, and I think that's a great question. The bar is set low to a degree, but it's been set low because of the expectations around this. Every time you set higher expectations, the team fails. But I think now, as the team is playing better, right, when you look at it, like we were even 5-7 with Zach LaVine, so it's not like we were winning before, we lost after, and then we're back trying to get back to winning. This team throughout the month of December and heading into January has won way more games than what they've lost. Yeah. But you do have to start increasing those expectations, because if we're just beating bottom feeders, yeah, we can make it to playing in that. But what have we really gotten out of it, right? You want to beat the better teams in the league.
And I think that's why, you know, a lot of Bulls fans or people who are Bulls fans that watch when we're winning, right, don't have a belief in this team, because a lot of us are excited right now about how this Bulls team has played. I think that they are playing better. I think they're moving in the right direction. But let's be real, we're trying to get back to 500.
Yeah,
we're close to getting back to 500. We're not there yet. So like I think now. This is and I love that we're going into this next topic about Billy Donovan challenging P. Will, because this is a pivotal point in your season before the All-Star break, right? Winning now, cool. You go out, you win. If the Bulls finish, and we said this, if they can finish at or near 500 heading into the All-Star break, when you get to the other side of that All-Star break, you have a real opportunity to move up the standings if you can continue to win. But are we going to see changes?
Yeah. Those changes may be coming, and we'll talk about Billy Donovan and his challenge he laid out for Patrick Williams, which in that game, he kind of answered those challenges. We'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is LinkedIn. At the start of the new year, every small business owner is asking themselves the same question. What's the one move I can make that'll take my business to the next level in 2024? LinkedIn Jobs knows that your success all depends on the team you surround yourself with. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has created the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many qualified candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. It's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn also knows the small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Pat, did you post your open position on LinkedIn Jobs?
Yeah. I'm saying yeah because Nick on the ad read before when we did Locked On NBA was like, that's how I found Pat. And I was like, all right.
First of all, tell him to stop taking credit for I found Pat. What are we talking about? Now I got a bone to pick with Nick. I brought Pat to you, Nick. What are we talking about?
Hey, I was like, yeah, I remember that.
What are we? See now Nick's about to get a strongly worded. No, anyway,
Bombastic side eye on that
one. Now, Pat. So Billy Donovan talked about how P. Will wasn't attacking the closeouts as well as he would have liked in the first half of that game against the Memphis Grizzlies. I think in the first half, Patrick Williams went like 1 of 6, 1 of 7, something like that.
Yeah,
and he challenged him to be more aggressive in the second half of the game. Now, Patrick Williams does end up finishing out that game with 15 points. And the question here, right? And we'll talk about the challenge itself. That's all great. We can talk about that. But something that me and you constantly talk about. Why do we keep having to challenge somebody in their fourth year in the NBA?
Listen, you guys know how I feel about P. Will. I like
him.
He
was 2 of 7, by the way, in the first half. So yes. I just wanted.
Yeah. He was 2 for 4 in the second half. I mean, like solid role player. 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. By the way, both of those shots came from the 3-point line. Listen, he's solid. Yeah, I like what he brings defensively, but Lance Briggs always says this to me on the Chicago Bears podcast. I shouldn't have to get you excited for your dream job. And I think about like us doing the podcast and stuff. Like nobody sits there and shakes us and wakes us up and goes, hey, boys, I need you to go out here and do an episode. I need you to go out here and be exciting on this episode. I need you to give it like, we just love to do this. And so the fact that, and maybe I think, it's tough for me with P. Will because in the NBA is so incredibly different. It is basically you have to kind of get in where you fit in. Mm-hmm. And with Zach LaVine coming back, with Zach taking more shots, DeMar being a part of it a lot more, right? Kobe kind of taking a little bit more of a backseat, Vooch coming back into the fold, right? You've seen P. Will kind of go into that mode where he was before. He's not a guy that's being relied on. And when he's not a guy that's being relied on, you kind of see him go back into that shell of himself where he's just content getting up, a couple of shots here and there, trying to get some putbacks. He'll drive aggressively, but for the most, and he's gotten to that point, but for the most part, right, he's just doing whatever the team needs him to do. That is a player that you're going to have to challenge a lot. That is a player that you're going to have to tell, hey, it's okay for you to be more aggressive in these moments because you're not used to being aggressive no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that is why we continue to hear these challenges. That is why DeMar DeRozan says he tells P. Will he's going to beat him up if he if he doesn't take wide open 3-pointers, where he tells P. Will, I mean, we're telling him be more aggressive offensively. We're telling him to drive more right. Like, I do think that those are the things that you look at and say, if this guy were like this all the time, he would be dominant. Mm-hmm. But because he's not like that, you have to continually challenge him. He's just who he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing that we have always said in our critiques and praise of Patrick Williams, at this point, is just all what's between his ears. That's it. That's it. And if he can get that together, it's gonna be different. Like, we've seen how much of a difference Patrick Williams makes when he is being more aggressive, when he is attacking rebounds, when he is, shooting the ball without hesitation, right? That's something that Billy Donovan talked about. I wish we could play clips here, but like, that's something that he talked about. So these are things that we've been seeing from Pat. And everybody knows, like, at this point, I don't think some people still doubt if it's there in Pat, but I think that we know it's there. The biggest question is, does he want to let it out consistently? Yeah, that's it.
It really is. Like, there was a play last night. I want to say P. Will's on the left side, pump fakes, drives through the lane, runs into Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson goes flying. Jaren Jackson is not weak.
Yeah.
Right. And P. Will goes for the, I think he got fouled. He ends up going to the free throw line. I want to say this is in the second half, knocks down both free throws. But it's like, I feel bad. Like, that Miami game, I see what that Miami game me and you went to. I see what AK saw, and I can see why you would be fooled by it. Now, as the GM, you shouldn't be fooled by things like this, but I can see why you'd be fooled by it, because it's literally just, if we can just teach him to be aggressive 24/7, he'll be a monster in this NBA. And when he decides to, he's a monster. But we don't see it often enough. And I think that's kind of why you continue to see these challenges put in front of him, because it's not even to say that it's a bad thing. It's just when your role is changed as much as P. Will's has this season, right? P. Will's gone from being the number 4 guy on the team to the number 3 guy to the 2 guy to literally like, hey, P. Will, it's your show. Go off today. We've seen him be able to do that. And then it's slowly like, all right, now get back to the back of the bus where, you started off this journey on. Right. Like, now we got Zach back. We got Vooch back in the lineup. DeMar's back out here and he's taking on a bigger role. Right. Like, you're seeing him kind of go back and forth. And so that's why, to me, you still need these challenges in place. I will say the one part that I guess is still a question in my mind is, if he didn't have all these people in front of him, what would he play like? Because we saw him when he didn't, and he looked, I want to say we played against, wasn't Cleveland, because Cleveland smoked us. Maybe one of those games
last season.
No, it was this year. It was this year. It was where I think nobody played except him and Kobe. And it was one of his best games of the year. You saw him just doing everything that we've wanted to see from him this season. And it was just that there was nobody in front of him who was going to take shots away from him. There was nobody who was going to take opportunities away from him. And he absolutely went out there and balled out. Yeah, what was this? This is Miami.
It was a loss, right?
We did lose that game, but 25 points. He was a plus 12. He had 7 rebounds that game. He had 4. Like, that's the guy that you want to see. And it's flashes, but it's also like I said, the question that I'll always have is,
even in that game though, everybody played but Zach.
Did they?
Yeah. Oh, Caruso was out. Caruso and Zach were out. Everybody. Torrey Craig played. Andre Drummond played. DeMar DeRozan played. Vooch played. Kobe. Everybody else played.
So maybe it's a different game I'm thinking of. There was one this season where it was just him, but it was a really good game, right? And maybe, listen, I'll say this. Very much like we say with Io, he plays like a role player. A role player will have pop-off games, right? A role player will have a 25-point game. Hey, we've seen role players have 50-point games. You'd be like, oh, my God, how'd he do that? And it's like, well, everybody getting the ball and let him just go. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's between P. Will's ears, but it's also the role that he's been put in. And the question that I will always have is, if you take those guys away, will he be somebody different? And I don't know if we'll ever be able to see that with P. Will. I understand he's young. AK is probably going to re-sign this guy, but so maybe we'll see it eventually, but it might be 3, 4, 5 years away. It might be a Kobe White situation where you got to wait till like everybody's just like, what's he still doing on the team? And then finally it is like, oh snap, he can play. Where's this been for the first 5 years of our lives?
Yeah, but Kobe still showed more flashes way earlier. But yeah, I get what you're getting at with that for sure. It's just, and I hope that he does, and I hope that when he does get there, it's in the Bulls uniform, because it makes the team so much more harder to guard as a team when Patrick Williams is on. Just does.
Yeah. So. No. Yeah. I mean, his shooting stroke is pure, and his
You like a stroke is what you're saying.
Strength. I said a shooting stroke. You took it there. You took it there. That was on you. It was all on you, my guy. That's a pause.
I just wanted to ask for back
at you.
Hey.
But no, I mean, like when you take his shooting stroke into account and his defensive ability and his strength, there's no way you can't like him. There's no way you can't see that he can play. It's just, when are you going to do it? And is it going to be Billy Donovan waking up every day going, hey, P. Will, it's okay to be aggressive today?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. Listen, he's got a ton of opportunity to prove it. 1 to 2 weeks here without Zach LaVine, and a very interesting schedule ahead. We got to talk about what we got coming up this week. But first, we got to tell you guys about FanDuel Sports. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like same game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays and more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked on and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. We also have to tell you guys about BetterHelp. There it is. We got to tell you guys all about BetterHelp. BetterHelp. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. And listen, you already know how me and Haize feel about therapy, especially coming into 2024. BetterHelp is one of the big things that we are proponents of. I mean, like, when you talk about just literally giving therapy a try, this is the best way to do it. You go through such a simple questionnaire. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule, and you get matched with licensed therapists. You could switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. The list is so incredibly in-depth that it finds somebody almost perfect just for you. And so heading into 2024, the one thing that we're talking about is getting the help you need to continue to stay on track. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. Again, BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
All right, Pat. The schedule ahead, man. We got a difficult schedule. Well, not really. It could be difficult for the Bulls. We do, because the Phoenix Suns are definitely difficult, and the Lakers aren't. I don't care how they've been playing. You can't slide. And by the way, we're gonna be up late that Lakers game, bro. That game doesn't start until 9:30 Chicago time, 10:30. Yeah, that's the 1 o'clock in the morning joint. But this first game up that we got Phoenix, Lakers, and Portland on the docket next week. Portland, that may be the game the Bulls lose. You just never know with that one. But when you're looking at the schedule ahead for the Chicago Bulls, what are some of the expectations? No Zach LaVine for sure over this week. How you feeling about the schedule?
I mean, I still feel fine about it. I think the Suns is an interesting team. They've been playing a lot better as of late, a lot more aggressive. And I mean, listen, we knew what this team was, right? Like, we knew this team was kind of like, they might be a little bit scary. Now you're starting to see guys get on the floor. You're seeing the tandem of Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. And you know what? I will say this, the dynamic for the most part, to me, works, because it doesn't seem like there's too big of an ego to where these guys are like, hey, I've got to be the one on tonight. And I think that's the only way that team's going to be successful. I mean, a couple of games ago, you're talking about Grayson Allen going 10 for 17, 9 for 14 from the three-point line. Devin Booker finishes that game with 11 assists, 16 points. Bradley Beal has 13 points, 5 assists. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing guys kind of get out of the way. So when I look at that Phoenix team, I'm still worried about them because of the names that they have on that team, but I don't think it's a team that the Bulls can't match up with. And so I'm very intrigued by that. I probably would have that as a loss right now. That Lakers game, I don't know, man. You seem a lot higher on the Lakers than I am. I'm not scared of the Lakers.
I'm not high on the Lakers at all. As a team, they suck. But the thing is that listen, the moment you look at a team, be like, hey, the Bulls should be able to take care of business against that team. D'Angelo Russell will have a career night. Austin Reeves will go 11 of 12 from three-point range. So I'm just saying, we can't overlook them.
Listen, I hear you. But that to me, right, that's more about which Bulls team is going to show up. That's really what that falls on to me, right? Which Bulls team is going to show up? Which Bulls team is going to go out there and play? Because I've seen the Bulls be able to handle the Lakers without Zach LaVine on the floor already, and I think they can do it again. Like the Lakers team is, it's not even that they don't have good play. What's Darvin Ham doing?
I don't think Darvin Ham knows what he's doing.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
That's what Darvin Ham asks himself every day when he comes into the locker room. Before he walks in, he's like, "What am I doing here?"
Hey, we give Billy Donovan a lot of flack, bro.
Oh, Darvin Ham is a way worse coach than Billy Donovan.
There's some bad coaches in the NBA out here, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Adrian Griffin has a better record than Billy Donovan, and Adrian Griffin is not a good coach. Like, what the Bucks are doing is just like, every time I watch a Bucks game, I'm like, hey, these guys are not good. They just have too much talent to lose some of these games. Like, that's really how it feels. It's just like, Giannis and Dame just like, is it my turn to just go be a one-on-one player? All right, let me do that real quick. Like, maybe they keep winning. I would assume that they would keep winning, but Adrian Griffin's not good. Darvin Ham is worse. Darvin Ham is just watching things happen. Like,
you know what it is?
When Austin Reeves don't like you, when the spunky white kid is walking past you for high fives, bro, you've lost the team.
You know what it is? Darvin Ham is the substitute teacher that when they just showed up to be a substitute for like one day, it was like, hey man, this dude cool. But then when the teacher goes out on maternity leave and they're there for 3 months in a row, you're like, hey, this dude sucks.
That's such a good analogy, Stacey. I swear, if you use that on NBC, you gotta give Haize credit for that. That was a phenomenal analogy, bro. Come on, Locked On Bulls did it. But no,
you gotta cook that one up. You gotta cook that one.
That's a great one. He gotta take that to the broadcast. But no, I don't know, bro. Like, that's pretty funny. But Darvin Ham is useless. And then the Blazers suck. Listen, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. We can complain about P. Will, but he ain't no Scoot Henderson,
bro. I don't know what. Like,
I don't know. I have no answers. I have no answers, bro.
I remember when people were like, "There's no way that Scoot isn't going to go number 1 overall." I'm like, okay,
bro. I don't even know what Scoot is. Like, I get it. He's a rookie, and but he is.
Hey, bro.
Here's the thing on the team.
Here's the thing. I think that Scoot will eventually work it out, but I will say this. So. This is one of the roughest rookie seasons. Matter of fact, him and Markelle Fultz are almost having the same rookie season. Except Markelle at least had the hitch in the shot and got hurt.
And the crazy part about Scoot is, right, like, Scoot's numbers aren't horrible.
Oh, no, they're bad, bro.
Nah, bro, Scoot's averaging like 12.5 points a game. For a rookie, that's not bad.
On 36% shooting.
Oh, no, the percentages are god-awful, but that's also the modern NBA. Must just be letting it fly, bro. Listen, I think the percentages can get better, but it just, you know what it is? It feels like his game is for a player for 2006, and it's the wrong NBA. Like, it's like, hey, can you shoot? Not at all.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Scoot was a solid 3-point shooter when he was with the G League Unite, right? Did I build that in my head?
I think you might have built that one up, bro. Now I might need to go back and remember that, but I'm pretty sure Scoot has never been able to shoot.
It's terrible now. It's terrible. It's bad.
It's worse. It's much worse now. Yeah. Listen, no matter what it was down there, it's much worse now. But listen, he's 19 years old. But I'll tell you that for the sake of this debate and this conversation,
we're not debating. We agree. There's no debate here.
For the sake of this conversation, then, yeah, no, bro, the 3-point percentage,
it was 27%. Yeah, it's
27%. Yeah,
garbage.
He was 42% from the field, though.
Okay, maybe that's
so. He's a long way from that. No, we should win the week. We should go 2-1 at a minimum this week. The Lakers are god awful. Darvin Ham has no idea what he's doing, and
since you said that Darvin Ham is,
we're gonna go 1-2. He's gonna coach the best game of his life.
Coach the heck out of Billy Donovan.
Right, he's gonna coach the game of his life, bro. He's gonna be sitting there. He's gonna just be like, "All right, boys, this is how we get together. Triangle here, and then we break into a 1-2-1, and then we go into be like, I've never even heard you say these terms ever. Like, what is happening right now?" Hey, man, I'm not gonna lie. You know what I love about Darvin Ham is He's just another failed LeBron pick. And I shouldn't like that, but it makes me smile so
Bro,
much.
if you are the general manager of a team with LeBron James on it, stop allowing him to pick y'all head coach. Stop. Don't do it. Let's go, bro. Like I said,
for all the things he's great at, he ain't picked one good head coach.
Bro, really, really good. Like I said, interim head coach will probably do wonders. Once he's the actual head coach, he's that substitute teacher. He's mad cool as a substitute. 1 or 2 days tops. Long term, no, you gotta get him up out of there, bro.
Bro, that man picked Frank Vogel. He picked I guess Tyronn Lue worked out. That's the one that worked out. He technically picked Tyronn Lue. And look, and got rid of Tyronn Lue because Tyronn Lue stood up to him.
Bro, I got nothing, bro. I got nothing. Man. Let's get up.
Yeah, it's not good. Let's get up out of here, man. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. And bear down. I don't know. I'm hoping the Lions lose today. They don't look like they're going to.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls. Locked On Bulls. I love you guys. Peace, y'all.
Peace.